You see, once your child is very confident and then very assertive as well, it's not easy for someone anywhere to do certain things because the person will think twice. I'll tell my colleagues sometimes they will see me with my pan and my basket on my head. And, sometimes you need mobility, yes. It's not luxury for me, it's a priority. But I feel that I am building a brand. When the time comes for me to get that Range Rover, you will not tell me. I'll go get it myself. This life, it's not a race. To me, it's not. No one is after you. Even if someone is after you, don't look back.
Characterized by her ability to embrace change, think outside the box, and take on challenges with enthusiasm and determination. Kaddijatou Badjie, a powerhouse in the Gambia's landscape, defying stereotypes and carving her path as a dynamic female leader. Fueled by her passion for empowering women, Kaddijatou has seamlessly woven together her academic prowess in gender and development studies with her roles as a business development officer and an eco-conscious entrepreneur. As the force behind Kaddijatou All Natural, she is not just revolutionizing the cosmetic industry, she is challenging norms and championing sustainability. In a world where women are often sidelined, Kaddijatou stands tall, leading by example and proving that gender is no barrier to success. Get ready to be inspired by her journey of resilience, innovation, and unwavering determination.
Dija,
Yes, there.
who are you and what do you do?
Thank you for that question. Like you've just mentioned, my name is Kaddijatou Badjie. I am married, of course, with two beautiful girls. I currently work for APS, Islamic Microfinance, heading the department currently for the business development and corporate affairs. I also own a brand called Kaddijatou All Natural.
Why is that important? The brand, oh, of course, you own a business.
Yes,
And the name of the business is Kaddijatou
All Natural.
All Natural.
Yes, please.
Why is that important? Natural, because natural comes up.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that?
Kaddijatou All Natural, of course, my name is Kadija, so it came, the word Dija came from my name. And that is because my brand started from a personal story. When I gave birth to my first daughter, I had some skin issues. So I was running around buying one cosmetic to the other, one product to the other. I spent a lot of money, and then research actually showed me shea butter, which I started using, incorporating it with some natural oils, and it actually saved me the uncomfortability that I was going through. I almost lost my self-esteem as a woman. I was always wrapped in jeans instead of being myself, wearing the skirts or putting on anything that I feel comfortable in. So when that happened for me, I felt that there are a lot of women who were going through the same thing. So I deemed it necessary to, start it up as a business because I was sure that somewhere there is another woman that is going through the same thing. So that was how I started, doing the product, giving it to my friends, giving it to my family members. And then they felt that it was really good. So I thought that was when, the business idea came in. I got my first training with the Youth Empowerment Project, got my business registered, and that was when the Kaddijatou All Natural actually started. And natural because I thought that Africa has a lot of natural resources, and having gone through research, I realized that Gambia as a country, we had a lot of people who were actually importing cosmetics in the Gambia, but then 90% of those cosmetics were actually having the presence of synthetic in them. They weren't actually natural. And if not in the Gambia and globally, we have seen the trend of cancer, especially skin cancer and other skin issues were actually going up as a result of the cosmetic people are using, which has the presence of mercury and also hydroquinone in them. So I was like, we will not only be in business to get money, but then we will embrace responsible production and consumption. and this can only be done by us, the youth of the country. That was when I said, okay, you know what, people need to know that the moringa we have in this country can be used and transformed to do something. The neem that we have, the eucalyptus that we have, and they're all around our surrounding. And that was when, you know, I paid from one country to the other to have some online lessons on cosmetics to actually start my brand. And my brand, I can tell you for a fact that it's not just any brand. I am not just the Kaddijatou or the Mariama that will just wake up without doing a research in something, especially because the skin is the largest part of our body. It's really important that whatever we are giving to people out there, we ensure that we know what we are doing. Yeah, I am not a doctor, I am not a dermatologist, but I can tell you for free that whatever I produce, I ensure that I know it very well to my fingertip. And that is just all natural.
MashaAllah.
Thank you.
I can see the confidence. And that now reminds me, because oftentimes, personally myself, having worked in the hotel industry and coming across some guests or guests that come to the Gambia, oftentimes what they tell you is they do not see that confidence in most of us Gambians, if you like, right? Now, you coming up with your own business alone it's worth applauding. But how would you connect this to you growing up here in Gambia as a child? Because of course, oftentimes you look at our social settings, most of us, if you like, well, the trend is changing, having us as an example. But how would you now relate this, Dija, growing up as a child?
Well, like you said, you have mentioned it, and sometimes we are brought up to be very timid, but that is different for me because I grew up from a typical Jola society. Unfortunately for me, my dad was fortunate to be educated, so he actually made me realize as a first child I should have a certain kind of character and a certain kind of there is a way that I should put up myself, because I have siblings that were actually looking up to me for so many things. And he was the traveling type. He was a politician as well. So often if he travels, he would leave everything in my hands, despite the fact that my mom was there, if you know, from fish money to contingency and everything. And because he was grooming me to become that leader, you know, to become that elder that my siblings and even my mom and other people will look up to and respect. So for me, I applaud him for that. Sometimes I feel that I am very lucky. Yes, so I was just brought up to be like this and not to be that timid girl child.
MashaAllah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, for anybody who is watching you, like any young person who is watching you, what advice would you give them, particularly anyone who wants to venture in the same business that you're in? Of course, one thing for certain, we always say it's never easy, it's never easy.
It's not.
But what were the hardship you would have to encounter that you would want to share to this young person who is watching?
What I'll tell them, the first thing is for them to start doing something. You need to tie up your bells. Gambia, it's Gambia today and Gambia yesterday is quite different. And of course, if you want to rely on your salary alone, I'm not saying you wouldn't make it, but then it will be very hard. No rich man in this country will tell you that they had whatever, or they have whatever they have from one source of earning or one source of income. So our issue in the Gambia is actually innovation. So I'm advising the youth out there to be innovative. You know, let them start something with their life. It's never too easy. Sometimes you will fail. Definitely. I have failed so many times. I have invested my money in so many things at the end of the day which have not yielded dividend. But I woke up the next day and know that something has to push you. If you don't have passion for something, there is no way you would go. And I think that is an issue we have in the Gambia. I mean, we will see very talented people who will start up businesses. But what would happen to them is that they're busy peeping everywhere. Because you're seeing Mariama is selling onions and the onions is working really fast and you want to venture into it. And then you're also looking at what the next person. So there wouldn't be no consistency. And then there wouldn't be also discipline in what you're doing. So, and I think that is the reason why most of the people or most of us will start businesses, but then the second day it will fail. But for me, it's the passion, because I know one way or the other I am solving problems. And then that makes me wake up the next day and want to continue doing what I do. So it's really important. So if you are watching us right now, I'm asking you, or I'm advising you to tighten up your belt, get something, get to do something, and whatever you want to venture into, make sure that you get the knowledge. It's really important, because if you don't have the knowledge, some way, somehow, you will get stuck.
One thing that came up in your explanation is passion. Having gone through your profile,
Yes.
I saw that you did gender and developmental studies, and at the same time, you're working at Approved Service as a marketing and development, business development
officer. Yes.
Would you say all those things are driven by passion?
Yes, they are. I grew up in a society where I saw that, men were actually always taking the lead when it comes to decision making, even in our homes. I am not disputing that, Gambia is a patriotic society, and even being a Muslim, sometimes you would be told that, the men would have to lead. But in as much as that is happening, I felt that women, are the architect of the society. So if these things like that are happening, we should be in the forefront of everything, side by side, and not being at the back clapping for the men. So that was what actually pushed me into studying gender. And, gender is very controversial. Someone will start telling me, are you saying 50-50? Yeah. But then 50-50 in the sense that if you and I studied marketing, and I am as good as you are, but because you are the other gender, you are paid more than me, and this is what gender is actually saying no to. We are saying that if we studied the same field, we have the same expertise, we have the same experience, why would you pay the next person maybe $1,000 and pay me $500 because of my gender? And sometimes when it comes to even the decision takings at the home, they will feel that we are so irrelevant. But at the end of the day, we are the ones that are left at the homes. From morning to evening, we look after everything. But when it comes to taking decision, you are like, you need to take the back seat. Who does that? Why is that happening? So these are things that I felt that as a person, I need to stand up on my feet. And it starts from the home, it starts from the community, to ensure that we are listened to by the men folk, and then also give them the understanding that we are in everything together, and we should work side by side to ensure that we have what we want when it comes to parenting, even if it's come to politics and so on and so forth.
Obviously.
Yes. So it's not easy doing all of these three things at the same time, but it takes hard work and perseverance to get through it. And if your why is very big, you just need to push on. Six o'clock in the morning, midnight. That's when I retire to bed. Consistency. Two things. One is my ingredients, because we work with ingredients, quality. And then two, putting down prices because of one person. I don't do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Put down as in?
Some people will call it devalue, because you just want to attract one individual. Passion is one. Knowledge is two. Three is innovation.
Why are those important?
Yes, because innovation, you don't want to be doing what everyone is doing. I'm doing cosmetics, one, but one thing my customers will always attest to is the standards of which I follow when it comes to doing my packaging. Now, when you look at the international products in the market, there are certain things that they will not compromise. That is how the product was made, the ingredients in them, the expiry, and also there is something that we call right here. If you're putting out a product in the market and you want, there is a caution that you want to be taking, like for example, keep away from children. I don't see that often people doing it. And now I give you, probably this is turmeric soap, I give it to you, and then your child uses it on their face, and it's because you have not seen that it should be kept away from children. So that is one thing that I look out for. I ensure that everything that should be on the product is there. All ingredients that should be on the product is there, because people are used to getting products and then the next day they come and tell you it did not work for me because I am allergic to shea butter or I am allergic to olive oil. Now, some of them will go to the extent that they would ask you for a refund when you have already opened the product. So this is why I'll always list out my ingredients. And once a customer purchases from me, I'll ask you to read the ingredients and then to ensure that everything that is there would work for you. And if you are not educated, I will tell you that I've put shea butter, defna for olive, defna for, just to ensure that we are on the same page. And I think that is really important. Yeah, even if the customer does not come back, sometimes customers may get products from you and then have issues, but then they will just decide to throw it away. But then what that does is, the moment someone comes to visit and talks about Dija, they will say that product is not good, don't go get it. So because customers give feedback to each other, and that is one thing that customers, entrepreneurs should always have at the back of their mind. So I always ensure that I have these three things that I have just mentioned to you. Well, what I'll advise my younger self is to continue doing what I do, to also keep focus, to work on attaining that $1 million is in the bank account, of course, which is very important. And then to ensure that we continue to solve problems for the people of the Gambia. And of course, provide cosmetics that work for both men, women, and children.
Beautiful. The next question I felt is important because oftentimes when we grow up, we are either shaped by our experiences, that is our childhood experiences. Now, I'm going to ask this question because of that.
Harassed, no, but discriminated, yes. But what I did was actually to, keep my head straight. And I also had the understanding that because we are brought up in different environments, people will tend to look down upon you for so many reasons. But I have taught myself that, yes, I am beautiful. I am who I am strong, and I'm not going to allow anyone to put me down for no reason. So I actually wore that cap that was not given to me. I decided to wear it by force, whether you've given it to me or not. So, and I believe that if all of us do that as children, growing up, the bully will stop in the community. People harassing you would even if it does not stop, but then if before someone does it, the person will think twice. Yes, and I urge all parents to groom and nurture their children that way. You see, once your child is very confident and then very assertive as well, it's not easy for someone anywhere to do certain things because the person will think twice. And that was how I was brought up. I'm not saying that you will not do it to me, but before you do it, you will have to think twice. So as a young woman out there, wear that cap. Don't wait to be given the cap. So that was what I did. For me, I am the crybaby sort of. Sometimes when things are tough, I'll just go into my toilet. I'll cry, I'll cry it out. Because sometimes I hear people say, cry it out. Yeah. So I'll go into my toilet, cry it out, drink water, sleep. Or, that was before. Nowadays, when things are tough for me, I get my money. I'll go to the nearby spa, spoil myself. Just for the whole day, spoil myself. And I'll be like, yako ligay, let me just go take this day off just for me, a me day. And that has really worked for me. Yes. When I'm stressed, when I have things going on, I go to a nearby spa, have a hammam, have my massage, go have a drink, and then come back home and sleep. That works. What we have next on our plate is to actually have a bigger spa, because right now we are limited. We are only doing facials, pedicure, and some other petty treatments, but we want to have a bigger space where we'll be treating brides, and have a mini salon aside, a one-stop shop that every woman can come in, have their bodies treated, have their perfumes and everything they would need for their day, especially the bridal side. because I've seen that in Morocco, Mauritania, they have spaces where if you are to become a bride, you go, they do rituals for you and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of, starting something like that. And we are currently looking for a bigger space that would allow us to do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Because of what you just said now, that reminds me of a quote from Stephen Bartlett. And this quote was echoed by Ibrahim Sawane. Ibrahim Sawane is he's the CEO or COO, if you like, and CFO of a multi-million seaport business, right? Now he echoes this in his book, and the quote says, "You don't become a master because you are able to retain knowledge.
True.
You become a master because you're able to release that knowledge."
That
Now, because of what you've just said, you went to other countries, of course, your experience has taken you, and you want that beauty in this country, and that's really commendable.
Indeed, that I think that is very important, because when you go to Senegal right now, they're far ahead of us. I think my last trip there was like a month ago, and I went specifically just to go and do a tour, look at what other like-minded people are doing in the business industry or in the cosmetic industry. I went from, very big spas, and I got inspired, having talked to one lady, Kaddijatou, who is the founder of something skincare boutique in Senegal. So I had a conversation with her. Currently, we are discussing on projects. I'm also supposed to go back to Senegal to have a week training with her, because she also do the brides and so on. She also started from a small room, just like myself, and then she gave me a lot of motivation. And this goes back to saying that you just don't sit in your corner when you are doing stuff. If you want to go big, you need to go to like-minded people, listen to them, listen to their stories. It motivates you. If something it does not push you, wallahi, you will not make it. Yeah. So these are the big people that I'm always on their pages looking at what they're doing. That also saves me. I always have my small book and say, okay, I think I can afford this. But first, I always make sure that the knowledge is there, because I don't want to start something that I will not be able to manage, because people come with issues, people come with problems, and they expect you to know to be able to solve those issues. So that's why before I start anything, I ensure that, I am equipped. I equip myself, in such a way that I'll be able to manage, when issues arises, which is very important as well. I am a timekeeper. Everything for me is, when I'm supposed to do this next, I, have sometimes I'll have an alarm. You think that probably I'm supposed to do I'm supposed to go somewhere. I'm not actually going somewhere, but it's actually telling me that this is what you have to do next. Aww. So you have everything planned accordingly so that you will be able to do them. But then if not, it's not easy being, having responsibilities at the office, being a mother and also running a business. It's not easy, but alhamdulillah, so far so good. We are grinding. It can be very scary, and then sometimes you go to the extent that it gives you anxiety. Sometimes you're in bed but you cannot sleep. That happens to me a lot. Especially there was the first time I invested more than 250,000 in my business, and that was everything that I had. I literally would go to sleep with one eye open. Aww. Yeah, because I'm always thinking, would it work? Would it work? But fear is okay. Everyone goes through that. But then I had behind my mind that I had the confidence that this is something that would work. Yes, I'm sure that I can't have it all correct during the first time. But then when things go wrong, I try to learn from them and then correct them and then continue. That has been me. Anxiety has killed me lately, but then alhamdulillah. Challenging for me right now is having a body that would have our products tested is very important. So when I went to Ghana, I realized that you are not even allowed to operate a natural skincare company without having your products tested.
Okay.
Yes, and I am urging the government to come up with something like that. Have a laboratory for us where we can go and have our products tested, because it's really important.
Right.
Lately, I've seen them pass a law about, bleaching products.
Right.
But I think the next step is for them to ensure that us young Gambians who are into natural cosmetic are able to have our products tested. It is very important, because people need to have confidence in the product that they are using.
Right.
In as much as we all know that some of these products that we are using, like the shea butter, have been used by our forefathers for centuries without issues,
Right.
which is another competitive advantage for my business. But then we have foreigners, we have people from the diaspora that are coming to us. They do not believe in that. But also because they want us to believe that anything that does not pass through the laboratory is not good, which is actually not true.
Yeah.
Because our forefathers have been using the shea butter without it passing the laboratory, and it has not caused any harm for them. But then now we are incorporating other ingredients into it, which is why I feel that having the products tested is really important. So I think that for me, that's it. One, because if someone in Ghana sells the same product as mine, but it says NDA approved, and mine does not say that, so the person has a competitive edge above me. If you were to ask me if I was to buy, I will buy the product that has been tested over the product that has not been tested. And this is why I feel that it is also important. The other constraint that we have is actually packaging, because all of these packaging materials that we get or we use are actually not from this country. Now, and if we have some, to be fair, but for me, I feel that there should be something that one will see and feel that this is Kaddija's product.
Right.
And that is, I use this product with the bamboo leads because I'm saying natural. So this is why I actually try to go get something that will look a little bit African. Okay. And it cost me a lot to get this product from China to here. If we have had it in the Gambia, it would have been a different ball game. So I think that is another thing that probably the government can look into considering, having a manufacturing company that would do, packaging. We can even have it different without the plastic. We can use, recyclable, like the paper and all that, to turn into packaging materials is really important. So for me, is sourcing the ingredients also is another thing, because some actives you would like to get are not available in the Gambia. You also need to order them as well. Right. The shea butter that I use I also order from Ghana, and the raw cocoa butter as well. Right. So these are some of the constraints. Sometimes logistics is an issue. You will run out of the ingredient before you have it back. It's another month. But aside from that, so far so good. I thank God. Well, my final thought is keep grinding. Whatever you are doing, keep grinding. Have that confidence that you would make it. You cannot invest your money and be in fear. You cannot have that, because at the end of the day, the fear will overcome you. So have that confidence. It's really important. And also have the perseverance and also have the discipline, because one thing is you investing your money today in business and all you want to do is every weekend you are at Senegambia, it would not work. And this is why a lot of time you will see a lot of women, morning to dawn, they are working, but at the end of the day, they don't have anything. I mean, you spend all of your time and hard-earned money on a business, and then the next day you spend it in a naming ceremony or to the wedding that you're going to. It will not pay off. There's time for everything, which I believe. I'll tell my colleagues sometimes they will see me with my pan and my basket on my head. And, sometimes you need mobility, yes. It's not luxury for me. It's a priority. But I feel that I am building a brand. When the time comes for me to get that Range Rover, you will not tell me. I'll go get it myself, because I'll know that what the Olaf will say, I'm nako te mun nako. But I will not get a Range Rover today, and then the next morning I start thinking where to get money to fuel it. So I feel that I'm not competing with anyone. So I live within my limits. I know what I can do. I know how far I can go. And when it's time for me to live that luxury, I will. So that would be my advice to the young people out there. Don't be in a hurry for anything. This life, it's not a race. To me, it's not. No one is after you. Even if someone is after you, don't look back.
Thank you so much, Dija.
You're welcome.
Obviously, I am inspired, and I can very well tell that any other young person who currently is watching this is inspired. Of course, we've heard the advice that she is echoed. Don't rush. Life is not a race, and you always have to compromise. When the time is right, then it's right.
Yeah.
This was Generation Next, and of course, we encourage you to share our videos. That way, the message synchronized gets to whoever which young person that probably is constrained and needs this message. The message gets to them. But also, you've mentioned the government coming up. Oftentimes, we do hear that it is said that the government cannot employ everybody, and that is so true. But if the young persons of this country are now taking the initiative, of course, to come up with their own business, then it's only right that the very government who cannot employ everybody creates that enabling environment for us. So we've heard what Dija said, and hopefully, inshallah, that those constraints that they're facing will definitely be dealt with. Until we come your way again, Betty and Mohammed, thank you always for making sure that we are live to keep on the inspiration, the motivation. Cheers.
Bye.